I have not met a leader, when I say a leader, I mean somebody who has excelled. I've not met somebody who's excelled, whether they're an athlete or an entertainer or business leader or whatever it might be. I've not met one who didn't go through enormous amounts of trauma. And the problem is the success has become the coping mechanism for pushing them to try and feel whole, try and feel complete. And it doesn't work. I mean, it works for about 10 minutes because you feel fantastic and the accolades are great. And then you are in the silent moments on your own, laying in your bed and going, how come I still feel like a piece of shit when I've gone and I've done all these things? And there is something, I mean, this is the work I do privately with my clients. There comes this moment where you have to go, there's got to be more. Now, when that moment comes, that's an identity crisis. What we call it is an identity crisis. And what most people do with that is go to new women or new penises, or they go to more alcohol or more drugs or more distractions to try and alleviate. And of course, it doesn't work. And there's that moment where they realize something's got to change. I work with organizations, large organizations, government bodies, etc., but also individuals, high-powered individuals. And most of the high-powered individuals I work with are intimidating to most people. And I think that I intimidate many of them initially. It's not that they're the wrong people. I don't mind that I intimidate them. What I'm more interested in is, are you curious enough to consider, why is this intimidating? I'll tell two stories back to back that I think will make sense. There was a lady, I had an initial contract with her, I was working with her, and we were on our second session, and she was like an insanely successful person from Australia, multiple generations of wealth and multiple businesses. And she said something to me, and I just paused and said, And she said, what? And I said, you do know you're full of shit, right? And she said, how dare you? I said, how dare I what? She goes, nobody speaks to me like that. And I said, that's the problem. I said, if you think you'll get the truth from anybody you employ, you're on crack. That's not how it works. If they depend on you for a paycheck, they will always filter. I don't care. You've already paid me. You have to pay me in advance. You can fire me. It's fine. I can also fire you. And she started to laugh and she goes, you're absolutely right. So that was one example of that. The other one is this guy who was West Vancouver, which is a very wealthy part of Canada. And he was telling me about things and, he wanted to work with me and he had heard about me from this person and that person. And he said, I can write you a check now. And I said, no, let's not do that. And he goes, why? I said, you can't afford me. And he said, do you know how much money I have? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, I know you're a billionaire. He goes, and I can't afford you? And I said, no, you can't. And he said, why would you say that? I said, let me just tell you about you and I'll tell you what you haven't told me. And you can watch this guy's face drain. I said, I know exactly where you live in West Vancouver. I know the hill you live on. I know that you've probably got at least 5 bedrooms, or probably 7, that you've got at least 10,000 square foot in your property. And I said, and all the furniture that is new is on the viewing level when you walk in, and you have to walk down to get into your house. I said, but in the lower level, you've got all secondhand furniture. And he went, what? And I said, yeah, you probably drive a high-level Mercedes. How do you know all this? I said, because I know you can't afford me. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, you don't value anything and you don't have enough money to value me. It's not about the fee, it's about the value, and you will never recognize value. That's why you have second-hand furniture in your lower area where you spend all the time and your family spends all the time, but the upper level is for showing off. Your car is for showing off. Your house is for showing off. I'm not interested in you showing off. I'm interested in your soul shining in the world to make a greater difference. And if you can't do that, you can't afford me because you think you can buy me with money and I will never be for sale.